Hey guys, how are you doing today? Hope I find you well and welcome to a new video. So in this video I just wanted to do a quick build guide on my Summon Skeleton Reavers build, which I've been playing for a while now and I've been having a blast. So this build, our main damage source is our Skeleton Reavers, and we have other minions giving our main damage dealers some buffs and putting some debuffs on enemies, and we'll go through all of that very soon. So right now I just wanted to go over my skills first. Let's take a look at our skills. So I'm currently level 89 because I abandoned minions early on in the game and started playing my Spark Stormweaver. But since they fixed the whole minions getting left behind and stuck in corridor stuff and make them revive immediately on you, I came back to minions and I've been having a blast since. So for my skills, I have a Skeletal Warrior, which is coming from my Scepter, right? And under the Skeleton Warriors, they're supported by Feeding Frenzy, they're supported by Culling Strikes that we have Cull, and then they're supported by Maim. And what Maim does is it makes enemies have 30% slower movement speed and 15% reduced evasion rating, which makes it easier to hit them. It's basically increasing more accuracy to some extent. And then we have Blind, which basically makes it so that enemies have less accuracy rating, which means they can miss when they try to hit us, and less evasion rating as well, which makes it easier to hit them. We don't miss as much, right? And then for the sixth link, I will probably put in a +1 to minions or something like that, and we'll see how that goes. Ignore this. This is not necessary. And then next we check out Summon Infernal Hound, which is coming from our Ascendancy, and we have Fire Exposure, which makes it so that enemies have fire exposure and they have to 20% negative resistances on fire, right? -20 on fire res. And then we have +1 to fire skills, +1 to minion skills. That makes our Summon Infernal Hound level 31. And then we have Fire Infusion. 25% of damage is extra fire damage. So if we look at this minion, it's doing 19,000 damage before we throw down our Pain Offering. If we throw down our Pain Offering, it's doing 41,000 damage with our Pain Offering, right? So that's a lot of damage coming from this thing. And when we have our last socket, I will do an update video with whatever skill you might select for that. Then we have our Summon Skeletal Reaver, which is our main minions. Okay, we have Heft, 30% more maximum physical damage, 20% more attack speed from Martial Temple. We have Heavy Swing, right? And we have Brutality, and we have Physical Mastery +1 level of socketed physical skills. This is a physical skill as the enemy's minion skill, so they do get that from the physical +1 to physical skills. So for these minions, without Pain Offering, they're doing about 13,000, and if we drop our Pain Offering, it's weird. It's hard to get this to. It goes up to almost 30,000 damage, right? And then with Enrage, when they get enraged, they get 30% more damage. So it goes up to probably around 50,000 per minion. But we'll take a look at the path of building later on. And then they have a bit of crit on them, crit bonus and crit chance. Accuracy is 1,419 and 100% chance to hit, which is good. And then they have 12,000 life, and their resistances are maxed out, and 46% movement speed modifier. Then we have Enrage, which gives our minions rage on hit. They get 2 rage on hit, right? Which is 1% more attack damage per rage. Okay, that means they do 30% more when they have maximum rage. Okay, so we'll take a look at that on the path of building when we are done. Then we have Pain Offering, supported by Font of Rage, which makes us and our allies regenerate life, right, when we use this. And also grants 2 rage to us and to our minions, right? Now we know what rage does, and we'll talk about enrage later on and how it interacts with this rage. And then we have dance macabre. Dance macabre. I don't know. 30% increased buff effect. Okay. Meaning that the buff we get from pain offering is it's increased by 30%. Increased buff effect, right? And then we also have skill duration here. Where is pain offering at the socket? And then what was that? It's a ablation. Yes, this one. This is the scheme jump that I wanted, right? What this does, it adds more 30% increased buff effect, but it takes our 15% of our life on use. That's why we have this, which makes us regenerate life as well, right? So it's like this for now for our pain offering, and then we have our skeletal storm mage, which is basically our shock bot, supported by elemental arms, and they have a lot of elemental resistances. It has 100% more chance to shock, and shock from supported skill does not expire on ignited enemies, meaning shock is permanent as long as something is ignited by our summon infernal hound. And then we have overcharge, which increases 75% increased magnitude of shock inflicted by supported skills. So the negative part of this less shock duration is removed because of Stormfire. So this shock buff, it's basically a 20% increased damage taken by enemies. Is it increased or more? I'm not sure, but that's what it is. It's more damage. Then we have vulnerability, which is basically curse armor ignored, which makes our minions ignore 8,000 armor on enemies, which is basically a direct damage multiplier. Now we also have heightened curse supporting vulnerability. We have Hex Bloom, and we have ritualistic curse. Then we have ourselves a skeletal cleric, which basically heals our minions. In fact, when we click enrage, our minions start to lose life the more rage they get. So these skeletal clerics leave them alive for a bit longer, and they are supported by Arcane Temple, Last Gasp, and Mid Shield. So that's it for our skills. Let's take a look at gear. For the scepter, we get as much spirit as we can. We get attack speed and minion skill level of minion 5 level of minion skills. That's the important mods. The other important mods you can get also is allies in your presence deal 11 to 20 additional physical damage, not attack, not fire, physical damage, right? That would greatly increase your damage. So keep that in mind. Then our helmet, our important mods are +2 to minions, right? Get as much energy shield and resistances as you can, and attributes. And for our body armor, get as much energy shield, resistances, get some mana if you want. And then amulet, get as much level of minion skills as you can, up to 3. And then get some life, get some energy shield and some resistances. If you can get spirit on this, that would be perfect. Body armor, get energy shield and spirit. The rest is just random mods, get resistances to fill them up and all of that. Then on rings, get life, get mana, get strength, get attributes, and get resistances. And same on glove, mana, life, resistances, and as much energy shield as you can get. As much energy shield as you can get on your boots, movement speed, life, and resistances. Belt, just get your charm slots, life, and resistances. Everything else is whatever. Right. Then for our charms, we have immunity to freeze, we have immunity to stun, and we have immunity to poison. When they happen, they are automatically triggered. So that's it for our gear. And for these, the runes, I'm basically using iron runes for additional energy shield. Right, as you can see on our character sheet, we have 7,000 shield at the moment, but I'm trying to get it to 10,000. I'm just going to upgrade these pieces, 1, 2, 3 pieces, to get as much energy shield as I can get to get it to 10,000 energy shield. So also keep in mind that the more life we have, the more spirit we get, and the more energy shield we get. When we look at our ascendancy, which leads us on to the next section, which is our passive tree. All right, so the focus of this passive tree is get as much minion damage as you can, minion attack speed as you can, as much energy shield as you can, and yeah, That's it. But I'll put a path of building in the description, and you can check it out for yourself. And for the jewels, get minion attack speed, minion cast speed, minion crit chance, minion damage, get increased energy shield, and those are the important mods for our jewels. All right, and you'll be good to go with that. So that's it for our tree, and this for ascendancy. We have a loyal hellhound, we have altered flesh, we have Beidat's hand, we have Beidat's will for a lot of spirit and a lot of energy from our life, right? So I think that is it for the passive tree and the gear and the skill gems. So let's take a look at path of building real quick. Alright, so this is our path of building. I just refined it a little bit so that we don't waste points in this area, and I removed also mind over matter just in case you don't put mana on your gear, because as you can see I have almost 2000 energy shield, 2000 mana, so I do have mind over matter, right? But if you don't have mana, keep in mind you don't have to take this. This just makes you a little bit more tankier. Alright, but as you can see we are quite tanky for elemental damage already, and yeah. So let's take a look at this. This is the passive tree and the ascendancy, and then if we go on our skills, we have our skills showed like this, and you can just copy them as they are. And then for our gear, I just put random gear. I was crafting it in this thing, right? So for what I was talking about, like for instance this scepter, right, it doesn't have physical damage, flat physical, but if I was to take remove the fire damage and add physical damage, I'd make it a decent roll, maybe 12 yards, that will work. And then I add it, you see it increases our damage by quite a bit, right? So just keep that in mind. And this is some random gear. We have almost a million DPS, which is great in this game. In Path of Exile 1 this will be nothing, to be honest, but with this build you can kill most of the end game bosses. I think you kill all of them now with this damage, because on this one, I'm doing around 500,000 damage on this one, and I have killed all the citadels. Well, not all of them, I failed this one, and then I'm gonna do that, and I'll make a video of that. But right now this is doing 500,000 damage. It's doing a lot of damage already. So that's it for this build, I guess, and I don't think there's anything else. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I will get to them as much as I can. But we have 10,000 HP shield, that's awesome. And yeah. Oh yeah, I need to show you something. I put this here, allies in your presence deal 30% more physical damage. This is basically for rage, okay? Because if you don't put this here, the enrage component is not added in this. There is no way to activate rage. I couldn't find a way to activate rage on this. I couldn't find it unless I don't see it. So let me know if I should remove this. Alright, because if I do remove this, it reduces the damage by quite a bit. But I do think it is a part of the build, and of course it's variable because it depends on the amount of rage that your minions have. Yeah. So guess I'll explain this part. Enemy is bleeding. Well, it's no longer bleeding because I was using a different setup, but I removed that. It's no longer bleeding, so let's just save that. Enemy is maimed, enemy is blind, enemy is ignited, enemy is shocked, enemy is crushed. This crush, I just put it to represent the curse, because you see if we take out our curse, it doesn't change anything here. Alright, if you take it out, it doesn't change anything. But I just thought it would simulate our curse by a decent amount, because our curse is removing 8,000 armor from our enemies, right? So I just put that to represent our curse. So I guess that's it for the build. I will leave this video for you guys to watch. You can watch my showcase of the builds after when I'm gone, and just let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.
Thank you.
None.